morning. Good morning, Raider Nation. Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. It is Wake Up with Wasted. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute everybody on X, formerly Twitter. Salute to everybody on all social media platforms. Get wasted with your brother, Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Shout out to everybody in the room. Shout out to my brother Hammer that's in the room. Hammer will be rocking and rolling today. He will be doing a live stream. Our brother Graphic Raider is on location from the sidelines of the Cincinnati Bengals Raider game. So he will not be available, but Hammer will be over there rocking and rolling. I need for every single person who can hear my voice to go and tap in with our brother Hammer. Let me give my shout outs and salutations before we get to rocking and roll. Oh, and before I do that, let me tell you guys who's powering this show, this splendiferous occasion. It is none other than BetUS. Now, if you guys are looking for a new sports book this football season, the answer is BetUS, guys. Fastest payouts in the industry, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Let me tell you guys something. We got the fastest payouts in the industry, fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process. Go on over to BetUS. Tell them your brother Wasted sent you. And salute to everybody. Yo, salute to my brother Graphic Raider in the place on location at the Cincy game. Shout out to him. We got over 100 in the room. Get wasted with your brother Wasted. Shout out to my brother East Coast Gritted It Arn. Is in a place early in the AM, man. Shout out to him. And shout out to the great and powerful Hammer McHammerlin will be cooking down there today. The best play-by-play in the YouTube game. Go check Hammer out, y'all. So let's get rocking, bro. Listen, guys, we got a tough game this week, man. Got a tough game this week. Yo, Graphic Raider is in a place, man. He says the stadium is underrated out here in Cincy. The shit's nice. We got a nice stadium out there. Yo, my dog, Corey Frazier is in a place, man. Middle Passes Media. My brother. Corey, what's the deal, bro? Appreciate you for pulling up in a place to be, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, and shout out to AC Yabar. Shout out to Raiders Clan, all y'all, man. Up in the place. Raider Ryan, KT Raider, the disgusting Anthony. LV Smaximus, the king, man. Appreciate you, bro. The Get Off My Lawn Game General. So, guys, let's get into this, man. Hey, Raider, get the F out of here. If you don't like me letting people exercise their American right to wager on sports. Listen, bet responsibly. But don't you come in here telling me a damn thing early in the effing morning. Listen, I'm up. We sprung, we fell back. So to me, my body is on noontime. I am full wasted right now. Won't you start getting unceremoniously blocked early in the effing morning? The F is wrong with you. Thank you, Graf. Got unceremoniously blocked. We're setting the day off right. Go get your ass unceremoniously blocked. My guy, Corey, out here celebrating his 12th red anniversary. Shout out to you. Congratulations on 12 years of marital bliss. My dog, man. Appreciate you, Corey. That's right. I am at 100% power right now. Been up since 2 a.m. So, guys, let's look into this Raider Bengal game, man. This Raider Bengal game is a it's a big matchup for both teams. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. The Raiders being 3-6 and 2-7 is, as stark of a difference as there is between heaven and hell. Because I'm going to tell you something. Since the Super Bowl era, there has never been a team that has made the playoffs being 2-7. Since the Super Bowl era. Now, there's like one or two teams that have made the playoffs, being 3-6, but a total of 14 teams from the AFC and NFC make the playoffs, guys. And let me tell you something. It's very, very hard for you to overcome being 2-7. So this is a game. This is a must win. And I'm going to tell you something. This is grand opening for the season, guys. Grand opening, grand season, man. And I know you guys saying playoffs. But I'm telling you something, man. If you are one of those fans who have that glimmer of hope for the playoffs, let me tell you something. This game is the game of the season. So you might want to tap in. Let's be real here. Do I think we're gonna make the playoffs anyhow? No. But listen, like the philosopher from Dumb and Dumber, Lloyd Christmas once said, there is a chance. Yeah, there is a chance, right? So if we're 3-6, there's still a chance. We're 2-7. You can kind of pack this up, and we can start doing mock drafts for the rest of the season, man. I'm just being honest. There's always that glimmer. There's a gleam, man. And I don't want to quote freaking Marty Schottenheimer. My guy, Graphic Raider. Stu over here looking like Weekend at Bernie's operating dead body. Yeah, I saw Stu, man. Stu looks like the dude from freaking from the Big Lebowski, man. Looks like Jeff Bridges from Big Lebowski. Yo, we are getting live intel from the great and powerful Graphic Raider. Graphic Raider, let me ask you a question, man. Would I be able to call you by phone right now and put you on the microphone and tell us what's going on at the field? This is something that Raider Nation no one gets. No one ever gets. Graphic Raider, are you willing to put? I'm going to call you right now. We are calling him right now. I don't know if he's going to answer. Your call has been. He banged on me. Oh, Grab, you are blocked. Effing bum. Yeah, but but listen, let's get into it, guys. You know, this. Oh, there you go. About to say, you effing bum, you about to be unceremoniously blocked.
I'm using my camera while tapping in with you. I'm gonna hit you right back. I'm trying to get some footage real quick.
All right, bro. I'm about to tap in with you in a minute. All right, brother. All right, y'all. Look, y'all. Check this out. We're gonna get into let's break the game down, y'all. Let's break it down, man. We got 5 questions going into this game, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. This game is an indictment on whether Antonio Pierce is going to continue with this team, right? I think every game is an indictment on Antonio Pierce going forward, right? But the biggest thing is that you have a Marvin Lewis, coming in here. Now, I don't know how much of an impact Marvin Lewis will have on this situation because Marvin Lewis wasn't there for this iteration of the Cincinnati Bengals, even though he was there a very, very long time. But the reality of the situation is, Marvin Lewis being on his staff, we got to ask ourselves, how valuable is that? Has that helped us at all? Was he able to give the Raiders any intel on this particular team? Intel on the thought process of the people in the building? And who knows? Because some of these players were there when Marvin Lewis was there. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. We know that there's shortcomings with quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's shortcomings with this roster and injuries. But what I want to know is, what's the prevailing opinion about the job that Antonio Pierce has done in the Raiders building? I think it'll be you'll get a clearer read on this based off of whether the Raiders are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs or not. Now, even if they lose this game, they won't be mathematically eliminated because we have a season that has been a historically bad season in the NFL from a roster perspective and from a record perspective, man. You say Hugh Jackson built the Bengals and not Marvin Lewis? You crazy as hell. Marvin Lewis was the GM and the head coach there. How did Hugh Jackson build the Bengals? The F are you talking about, DeMarcus Webb? The F are you talking about? My man got kicked out of college. Dog walked out. Look, man, I think that NFL coaches going to college and college coaches going to NFL, sometimes it works, right? But there are some people who just don't have that skill set. He said the Carson Palmer trade. Yeah, that wasn't the only thing. Come on, bro. There was a lot going on there with that, bro. And Marvin Lewis was there and was there to take all of that, too. You right about that, man. I can't. You know what, DeMarcus Webb? I'm sorry. DeMarcus Webb. But it's crazy, man. We got a few questions, man. Yo, the reality is that, right now, I would feel like if Gardner Minshew played bad this game, whether we win, lose, or draw, right? If he plays bad enough to get yanked, I think for the rest of the season, you will be seeing Desmond Ridder. This sets up perfectly for a change at quarterback. Desmond Ridder's been in the building for 2 weeks. We're going into a bye week after this game. I would think if there were going to be a change at quarterback, this would be the best time to do it. You have a whole off week to get Desmond Ridder ready. But let's pray for rain. Let's hope that Gardner Minshew embraces the situation here, and plays well. Now this is a daunting task because you don't have a wide receiver one. Jacoby Myers at best is a high end wide receiver number 3, a real serviceable wide receiver number 2, and us having Brock Bowers being our number 1 threat on offense is a great thing for Brock. It's a great thing with developing the young kid. But the problem is that you don't get a chance to stretch the field with a tight end. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. The Raiders, have to really, really question some of the choices that they made this offseason as far as, from a wide receiver perspective, knowing how disgruntled Devontae Adams was. And also, bringing in a guy in Minshew, man. Listen, Minshew is getting paid a hell of a lot of money, man, for the putrid play that he's played, right? So, he is a guy that will most likely be cut at the end of the season, no matter what, man. Barring a dramatic turnaround at the end of the season, I think Gardner Minshew, this is his swan song as a Raider quarterback, man. So there's a lot going on. But the thing we have to realize is that the Raiders, are not the only team that's on the field today that's struggling. The Bengals have struggled, man. This is a tough matchup for the Raiders, man, for them against the Raiders, man. And the thing is, Zach Moss is out. They have issues with their running game. They have issues with their line. I'm going to tell you something, man. I have a funny feeling the Raiders might pull this game off, man. Even though the Bengals are heavy favorites, man, I'm going to tell you something. The Bengals struggled at home this year, man. And from a gambling perspective, we're going to get into that. I expect the Raiders to cover, man. Even though this team has been inconsistent, the Raiders have managed to play up to quality opponents like the Baltimore Ravens. We've played up to Kansas City with a tough loss, and we even pulled off an upset road win against the Ravens in week 2. But I don't think the Raiders have enough talent to go out here and dog walk the Bengals. But the Bengals have played down in their competition. The Bengals are missing a lot of holes on this team. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I expect the Raiders to get a dub today. I do. And people say spoke like a true fan, but I'm telling you right now, man, I do. Yeah, like Dolph said, they are a bigger disappointment than us. And see, the Bengals have gone all in this year. And that's the difference between us and the Bengals. The Bengals have a number 1 quarterback. They have a number 1 pick at quarterback that's been to a Super Bowl. T. Higgins is hurt today, right? We're going to get into all of that. But, the Bengals push their cards to the table. They are expected to win. They're expected to win. I'm telling you right now, the Bengals are expected to win. Now, look, when we start talking about, whether we want the Raiders to win, lose, draw, right? It's a week-to-week league for me. I'm not looking at the end of the season. I'm not looking at, the win-loss record at the end of the season. I can only tell you what I feel like is going to happen now. At the very minimum, the Raiders are covering today from a gambling perspective. So, guys, look, this is what I want you to do. We're going to continue to break this game down, but start getting your gambling advice in. Start getting your fantasy football questions in the chat. Let me know. Get wasted with your brother, wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Everybody over there on Twitter, pull on up. My guy, Raider Clan. Before just win, it was a commitment to excellence. Never want to see my boys lose. But a win will be worth. Well, will a win be worth the shift in draft placement? Well, bro, this is the thing, man. I'm not rooting for losses because the rest of the league is doing pretty bad right now, man. The rest of the league is doing pretty bad right now, and I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of right now. The Raiders will be picking 7th. The Raiders will be picking 7th right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna allow the season to materialize and take place before I start going and wishing for things and stuff. Look, man. That's just not. I'm never gonna sit up here and say, "Yo, I would just want them to totally lose and this and that." That's not how I'm built. You know, does my brain tell me that's probably, you know, what I should root for? Yeah, but it's just something in me. I can't root against my team, man. I'm sorry, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we look at the AFC East. Buffalo sitting at top at 6-2. Jets 3-6. Miami 2-5. New England 2-6. Pittsburgh 6-2. Baltimore 5-3. 3-5. 2-6. 6-3. 4-4. 2-6. 1-6. Like, guys, there's a lot of bad freaking teams in this in the AFC, man. In the league, especially in the AFC, though. Look at that. And we're sitting here at 2-6. So to be honest with you, now let's look at let's look at the NFC. Giants 2-6. Dallas 3-4. NFC's playing a lot better. New Orleans 2-6. Carolina 1-7. The Rams 3-4. Right. So, and one of those wins are against us. So when you start looking at this, man, the Raiders, the Mendoza line is the Chargers, right? The Raiders at 3-6 would jump and really have a puncher's chance at making a playoff spot. Now, do we think that's going to happen? I don't. But I can't sit up here and just, you know, totally want the season to go down the drain, man. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just, yeah, we'd actually, so we're 6, right? So to me, I'm looking at it like this. However this season goes, right, this game is the litmus point to how I feel about whether I want the Raiders to win or lose or not. I'm gonna be 100% off. I'm honest with you. Raider Ratchet, F losing. We don't tank. Sorry, Raider supporters to think that shit, man. Rusty Nails. The Bengals have played pretty good teams thus far. I think this is their get right game. I think we're likely to lose by 10. I don't agree, bro. I don't agree. I think it's gonna be a tough game for the Bengals, man. Even at home, and they've played pretty bad at home, guys. They played pretty bad at home, man. I'm just being 100% real with you, man. So when we start talking about the over and under in this game, you know, 45. You know, the Raiders are road dogs, 7.5, a touchdown and a field goal. I would pick the Raiders to cover, but I would stay away from the money line on this one, man. I would stay away from the money line big time, man. Stay away from the money line, man. You know, and when you start talking about, you know, the Raiders, you know, we've lost 4 straight games. We've covered in the last 2. Gardner Minshew's coming off a pretty clean game against Kansas City, man. He completed 80% of his passes, threw for 2 touchdowns without an interception. And T. Higgins and Orlando Brown are doubtful, man. And their absences are going to limit this Bengals offense, man. You know, so I'm looking at it from this perspective. Even if the Bengals do win this game, this will be a close game. It's a close matchup, man. You know, and the Raiders have exceeded 20 points. The Raiders last exceeded 20 points like 6 games ago. And it's a drought, you know, due to some headaches that we have on the offensive line, some headaches we have with Devontae Adams not being here. But let me tell you something, man. Turnovers is where the Raiders really need to focus, because when we don't turn the football over, we're a more viable team at the end of the game. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's some pretty good props out there. Jamar Chase, over 83 yards, book that. And total receiving yards over 114. You know, I would definitely take the over on that one right there. I think Jamar Chase is going to cook this game. And, you know, it is what it is. Point spread, you got to go with the Raiders, man. I'm telling you right now. This is a trap spot for the Bengals with the Ravens on Thursday night next, man. And you know what I'm saying? They lost to Philly, that dropped them to 3-5. It should have been the game that got them redirected and got them focused. But I'm going to be honest with you. This offense is 5th and 3rd down in red zone success rates. And Burrow probably shouldn't have had, you know, he shouldn't have a problem scoring against the Raiders, man. But I'm telling you right now, that's when you look at it from the prism of him having his full myriad of weapons, and he doesn't. I think he's going to have an issue today. I really do. Shout out to the over 350 y'all in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. East Coast gritted it on. Las Vegas, especially when people, East Coast, stop arguing with people and help out in the chat here. That F is wrong with you, East Coast. Booby Clark, get the F out of here, man. Yeah, AP ceiling is like 9 wins. If he has everything put on a platform, bro, it's simply not good and will never be as good of a guy like Ben Johnson, Vrabel, Slowick, etc. Hey, man, I ain't mad at you, yo. I ain't mad at you. Dolph, can you talk me out of betting on New England versus Tennessee? I don't know how Tennessee is favored, man. You know what? Let's get into that, man. Let's get into some gambling advice right here, man. So look, man, Tennessee is favored 3.5, man. The Patriots are coming off of a shocking upset win at home versus the Jets too, and they're traveling on the road. They're it's crazy because I guess they're a bad football team. They're road dogs against Tennessee. Tennessee has shown flashes of solid play over the last few weeks, and I think that's why the line is that way. They hung around in the first half against the Buffalo Bills. And they did some nice things offensively against Detroit, but Detroit kind of dog walked them. Look for the Titans to kind of put together a decent and coherent game. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I would go with New England in this one, man. I mean, 8 Titans players missed practice on Friday, man. 3 being ruled out. No Patriots players missed practice, and Drake May is cleared from concussion protocol, man. The Patriots are healthier than ever this game. For the first time in a long time, man. And they're going to be up against a bad Tennessee team that will probably should be like laying a field goal to them. Even when listen, man, when you have a healthy team, you're a better team. I got New England winning this game outright. I say take New England with the spread and the money line. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's Drake May or Jacoby Brissett, take New England, man. Take New England. The Patriots are pretty healthy, man. I mean, and when you look at Tennessee, man, Josh Wilds, questionable. L'Jarius Sneed, out. Big loss. Tajay Spears, out with a hamstring. Tyler Boyd, questionable. Tony Pollard, running back, questionable. Armani Hooker, questionable. The offensive tackle, Dylan Radnuz, questionable. Trey Avery, questionable. Tavondre Sweat, their stud defensive tackle, questionable. And Will Levis is having an AC joint problem with his shoulder, man. So I don't see how they took Tennessee. You got to take New England in that one, man. Got to take New England, man. Should I start Bo Nix or Danny Dimes? Let's look at that game, bro. Let's look at that game because this is the thing, man. Conventional wisdom would say, hey, go with the veteran quarterback, right? Now, the New York Giants are playing against the Washington Redskins. The Giants are 4-point dogs to the Washington Commanders. I keep calling them the Redskins. I'm very, very sorry about that. The Commanders, man. The Commanders have not been the greatest defense. You know what I mean? And Daniel Jones, being the kind of quarterback that he is, he gets you points on the ground. He gets you points through the air, But Bo Nix, man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I would probably go with Bo Nix, man. Yo, let me tell you something, man. Bo Nix has been a top 10 QB in the last 3 of his 4 games, man. And this is a situation where, I don't know, man. I mean, Bo Nix is playing against the Baltimore Ravens, but this is not your father's Ravens defense, man. This is not your father's Ravens defense, man. I think Bo Nix will do okay. I think he will, man. I'm going to be honest with you, man. And the Broncos, have had a pretty weak schedule thus far, man. They had some easy wins over the Panthers and, Spencer Rattler's Saints, squeaked one out against the Jets. The Ravens do have a stout defense, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going Bo Nix, man. You get down to the bottom, man. Jack Jones with an early interception today. That's quite possible, bro. That is quite possible. Look at later, wasted. I'm Native American, and y'all can call them the Redskins. Yeah, man, my bad, bro. I'm just saying, look, I just want to be accurate here, my brother. I don't want to offend anybody, bro. Wasted. You told me to get the F out of here about Bo. Yeah, F him. Because he's in my division, man. We talk about a fantasy perspective. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be some some world beater. F Bo Nix. Evan Ingram, like your life depended on it. Over Tucker Kraft, Evan Ingram all day and twice on Sunday, man. I mean, is that even a question, bro? Is that even a freaking question, bro? Especially in the PPR league, man. Especially the PPR league, man. I mean, Evan Ingram, I have Evan Ingram as my 5th ranked tight end in the league, man. Over Tucker Kraft. I mean, you got to go Evan Ingram, bro. That's not even a question for me, my brother. Yeah, I think the donkeys will come crashing back to earth. But Daniel Jones, and this is the reason why I'm not picking Daniel Jones, and I picked Bo Nix, because Daniel Jones has a penchant for freaking throwing the ball all over the place, freaking getting interceptions and things like that, and that is things that you got to bake into your fantasy projections. I know Tucker Kraft has had 5 touchdowns in the last 6 weeks, but I'm going to tell you something, man. If you're looking at the matchup, right? Let's look at the matchup here, bro. Let's look at the matchup, man. Let's look at the matchup, because I don't know how healthy. I mean, they're playing against the Detroit Lions, bro. That Detroit Lions defense is hellacious, East Coast. That is a hellacious defense, man. And Jordan Love, has been balling, but Jordan Love has been really nicked up, man. He's been really, really nicked up, man. I am a believer in the fact that when I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and I'm looking at the matchup and I'm looking at the fact that we haven't seen that game yet when your boy, Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence is broken out, I think it's a more favorable matchup for Evan Ingram to shine. And Evan Ingram is pretty much option number 2 in that offense. He's going to get targeted a lot more. I'm going with Evan Ingram, bro. Jacoby or Cooper? Oh, you got to go Amari Cooper, bro. And, Jordan Love is playing. Should I start Romeo Doubs or Xavier Worthy in the PPR league? Man, this is you know what, man? This is the thing, man. I like Romeo Doubs. I do, right? But the thing about that kid Worthy, it just seems like he doesn't get targeted a lot, but he's so damn fast. When he does, he just explodes, man. He explodes, man. Pause if necessary, man. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go Romeo Doubs, man. Romeo Doubs is more consistent, bro. So East Coast Gridiron, he disagrees with me. He goes, the Lions are bad against covering tight ends. Evan is going against Cooper DeJean and Nakobe Dean, who have been destroying tight ends this season. Tucker all day. Listen, that's very solid logic. I disagree. I mean, most of the time when I disagree and we go back on my fantasy projections, East Coast, that is very solid logic. But when you go back on my fantasy projections, I'm telling you something, man. You guys, that's why people come in here every week. East Coast, I'm willing to put a little wager on this, East Coast. East Coast, you in here? I am willing to. East Coast, if you want to pull up, you can pull up, bro. If you want to pull up, let me go. Let me know. I'll pull you one up so we can talk about this live on screen, bro. You're wasted. Jacoby or Jaden Green today? I'm going to go Jacoby, bro. What's up? You want to debate, brother? Come on up. Come on up. Oh, Jacoby Myers, 100%. Jacoby Myers, 100%, man. I'm going Tyrone Tracy Jr. Even though Alexander Mattison has had a pinches for scoring touchdowns, I'm going Tyrone Tracy, bro. Wait, start. 2 full start, PPR, Jason Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown. I mean, Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown. You said Jason Taylor? What you, hold on, bro. You mean Jonathan Taylor? You mean Jonathan Taylor, bro? Are we talking Jonathan Taylor here, bro? Yo, then you do Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, bro. Come on, bro. That's not even a question, bro. That's not even a question, bro. It's not even a question. Guys, listen, we're gonna get the great and powerful East Coast gritted it on. We're gonna bring him on up, man. Guys, get some more of your fantasy questions in. Get some more of your fantasy questions in, man. We are pulling a great and powerful East Coast gritted it on. He is going to pull up in the place, y'all. My brother Dante is in the place, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. This might get a little wild here, man. It always does when the great and powerful East Coast gritted it on pulls up. Yo, it's in your inbox on the gram, bro. Shout out to everybody in chat. We got almost 400 in the room, man. Said, man, sit your ass down. Now he always want to talk ball, man. Oh, you gotta go Scary Terry, man. Scary Terry is wide receiver number one. You know, that Washington offense has been kind of centered around him and his connection with Jaden Daniels. You got to go with Tracy McLaurin, man. Guys, we're gonna get back into some of the Raider stuff, but we doing fantasy football gambling advice right now. Good morning, Harold Green. What's up, man? Said Jason Taylor and Simeon Rice. Walt, get the F out of here before you get blocked. That nonsense, man. So I got Russ Francis over Taylor Craig. Get the F out of here, yo. Drop Addison for Chubb. I think this is the week, man. You got to start Chubb, man, because Chubb has been, on the injured list. They brought him back. This is the week where you're going to see Chubb take off, man. They're going to have more of a balanced approach, I would think. I would, when you have a wide receiver number one, not a wide receiver, but a running back number one, the value of that running back number one, I value over a wide receiver number two that's clearly disgruntled as well. Jaden Daniels QB1 for me. Can't believe I drafted CJ Stroud as high as I did. Look. You talk about a rookie. You talk about a guy who was slided to be an MVP candidate before the season, bro. You can't sit up there and be mad at the decision to take CJ Stroud, man. Daniels or Hurts? Oh, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, man. Jaden Daniels has been electric, man. Harold Green is in a place to be. Melissa Cervantes, my guy Mike. What's up, Mike? What's going on, yo? What is the deal, yo? Yeah, Jaden Daniels, twice on Sunday, bro. Jaden Daniels. Yo, do you think Coupon Tom will have any trades at the trade deadline? Let's see. We got to start talking about this. Now, let me transition a little bit, guys. When you start talking about what a team is going to do going into, the trade deadline, whether we win or lose this week is going to distinctly determine what we're going to do in the trade market. Now, they're saying that the Raiders are probably going to stand pat. But I'm going to be honest with you. If the Raiders are 2-7, I think the mindset of the front office changes a lot, especially if they get to a point where they don't feel like there's any mathematical way that they can win the playoffs game. They're going to start looking to try to prepare themselves to go into the next season and try to have as much ammunition as they possibly can to get a quarterback. And I think 3-6 Raiders are more conservative. I think 2-7 Raiders start selling off some guys. And Jason Marshall, pause if necessary, but he is due to explode. Chubbs is due to explode, man. Flex, Njoku, Myers, Mattison, or Dobbs. I'm going to be honest with you. I would probably flex Romeo Dobbs, man. I'm going. You always, as a flex player, to me, I mostly use wide receivers as my flex players, man. Especially a guy who gets targeted as much as Romeo Dobbs, man. I'm a Romeo Dobbs guy. Mark Andrews or Hunter Henry. That's a tough one, man. That is a freaking tough one, man. Because look, conventional wisdom would say, Mark Andrews, but it is looking like Isaiah Likely is the favorite of Lamar Jackson, man. Isaiah Likely has been that favorite, man. He's been that favorite. But Hunter Henry is playing against Tennessee. He has a young rookie quarterback. That quarterback kind of leans on Hunter Henry across the middle. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Playing against the Tennessee Titans, we'll probably pick Hunter Henry, bro. That's right. Yo, Jacoby Myers and Romeo Doubs aside, I go Romeo Doubs, man. Good morning, Wasted. You've been cooking today. I'm with you. Let's get efficiency. Appreciate you. Think I'm cooking today, man? I appreciate you, bro. Let me, and it's crazy, man, because when you start talking about this, man, a part of me, I wanna go on, our sponsor BetUS's site and maybe do a couple of wagers, man. I was thinking about doing that, man. You guys want to walk down the hill with me right there? You guys want to walk down the hill with Old Wasted? Do you guys want to walk down the hill, man? Look, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go on over to BetUS, right? Start placing a couple of wagers here, man. Maybe do a little prop building here, man. Look at this. Look at this sports book, man. It is unbelievable how comprehensive this is, man. They got football. They even got props on politics, y'all. U.S. politics. Look at this. Look at the favorite. Look at this. Look, they got politics, but we ain't gonna get into that. Listen, man, we are going to get into some football. We're going to get into some gambling here, man. So you can go first half. You can go games. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you need to. Yo, my guy, East Coast Gritted and Iron is in the place. Yo, Doctor, bro.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Pulled up with the Raider jersey on?
Bro, before anybody says anything, I was the first one to get the custom Brock Bowers drink.
Yeah, man. Yo, my man got a Brock Bowers jersey. Look, Dante, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm happy that you are starting to slowly transition to the dark side. I love it. Guys,
wishful thinking.
Listen, he is transitioning to the dark side as we speak. Transitioning. Twitter, YouTube, you see it right here. Is evidence, Dante. Look, I knew you were a smart man, but I have more faith in you as the days grow longer with the Brock Bowers special on.
Don't feel so special, man. You should see my jersey closet, man.
Listen,
I can switch to any team at any second.
Dante, we're gonna mute you right now, Dante. We're gonna mute you right now. He is coming to the dark side. We don't want to hear this nonsense. Dante, what the F is going on, yo? That's right, he's going away from the Jags, everybody. Dante,
they make me want to jump ship, man. I swear to God.
Yeah, so Dante, look, I'm over here on BetUS, man, American number one sports book, and I'm up here thinking about, placing some bets here, man.
I've been going crazy the last couple of weeks, man. I got a couple that I would definitely have you guys put some money on. I need to get logged into the sports book though, but yeah, man. I'm here for any of your betting advice.
Listen, man. So look, over under with the New England Patriots, man.
Over under. What's the over under right now?
Over under is it's one wait, the over under. Let me see. I'm sorry, man. Look, my eyesight sucks, man.
Is that over under is right there, is next to it. That box.
Wait, I'm trying to put this window down, man. I want to stop chatting. Yes, get out of here. It's unbelievable here, man. Week 9, the game. So we got our over under here, man. For 38.
38. Okay.
38, man. So look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This game is gonna be a tough one. Tennessee has issues freaking scoring the football. When you start looking at Will Levis has an injury with his throwing arm. Drake May is coming out of the concussion protocol. These are two really bad teams offensively. This is going to be a defensive struggle. I'm going to say under 38, man.
Yeah, the only thing is with this is what Drake May that you're going to get. So we know that he's still starting even though he's banged up, right? Mm-hmm. He's starting to get a connection with Hunter Henry. Ramondre Stevenson is the big question mark. On the Titans side, you got Calvin Ridley trying to get his connection going with what's his name? Why I want to say Davis Warren. I'm still in like college football brain from yesterday.
Yeah, I know, right?
I forget the dude's name. Quarterback that used to be for the Steelers. He's coming in, right? And they're getting their connection together. But how many balls are Calvin Ridley going to drop today? Pause if necessary. So yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Under for them, that's pretty solid because they're not putting up points.
Look, so this is what we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna risk 50 on this, man. I'm gonna place that bet. Well, let me go down on my whole sheet and stuff like that. Okay. All right. The Chargers Browns. I think I might stay away from this one, man. I'm gonna stay away from this one, man, because I don't know what Browns I'm gonna get. I don't know what Nick Chubb I'm gonna get. You know what I'm saying? This is really an even money game. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be real with you, man. I'm gonna stay away from this. This to me, this is a money line game. If I'm gonna bet this game, and you know what, I'm probably going to take the Cleveland Browns with the money line, man. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to win this one outright, man. I like the way Jameis Winston's playing. You're getting a Nick Chubb that is healthy for the first time this season. It looks like the Browns have kind of galvanized themselves around Jameis Winston and losing Amari Cooper. I'm going to pick the Browns to win outright.
Yeah, I agree with this one as well because Jameis Winston, if anything, he's going to throw it up, get you a ton of points in the air, right? We saw Cedric Tillman kind of come into his own from Tennessee, which all college football guys, we know that Cedric Tillman was better than Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee. Let's be real here. The only reason he won the Biletnikoff because that dude got hurt, but it looks like they got their connection going. And the Chargers have been like this when it comes to points. Like you win games, but you're winning 10 points, 17. Like they're not a high scoring offense right now. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a trap game and a better team with kind of some oomph behind them with Jameis Winston, yeah, you go to Browns here for sure.
Yo, shout out to Anthony. Anthony, you are about to be unceremoniously blocked. You gotta stop with your effing nonsense. Wow. Gotta talk about betting on pocket pool. The F is going on here, Anthony. We are up here. We are betting. This is serious business, man. This is a serious matter, as the AKAs would say. The F is wrong with you, man. Shout out to my AKA wife, man. Shout out to my wife. New Orleans, Carolina, man. Are you staying away from this one, Dante?
No, I mean, if anything here, I'm not taking the over-under. I'm going strictly money line, and you got to put the money on New Orleans. That's easy money in your pocket. I know it's very lopsided, but I'm taking New Orleans with the money line.
New Orleans with the money line, man. You know what, Dante? I don't want to waste my money, man. Because I'm going to be honest with you, my football brain is telling me that you're absolutely effing right. But listen, the football gods say differently, right? This is one of those games that just me as a bettor, if I take the Saints, this is going to be that one game that Carolina was like the game that they won against us, that they were not supposed to win, that they win. I always stay away from teams that are this bad. I always do. That's just my thing, man. That's my thing.
It can't get any worse with Derek Carr versus the other two that they had starting, right?
Yeah, but man.
Y'all got PTSD, so
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look. I'm gonna go with the points, right? Wait, no, I can't, dude. I can't do it, man. I can't do it, man. I can't, bro. I can't do it. Because what I was gonna do is I was gonna take New England with the points, and I was gonna take a money line bet on them too, to try to hedge my bet. I can't do it. I got to stay away. Anything with Derek Carr, I just stay away from, guys. Let's go to the Bengals Raider game, man. Now, I normally don't bet on my team, but I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I am taking the Raiders. The Raiders, at the very minimum, will make this game more competitive than a lot of people think, bro. I can't see the Raiders. I think the Raiders will cover. I don't know if they'll win on the money line, but I know that they'll definitely cover, man. I don't see the Cincinnati Bengals beating us by a touchdown and change. I see this being a game coming down to a last-second field goal.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. That's what I did this morning as well, is I put the Raiders to cover as far as the points, kind of like what I was saying in the chat. Bengals are not good on defense. especially that front seven. They're good at rushing the quarterback, but they're still not good at covering the running backs completely. And I don't know if that's just a deficiency of having to go against Joe Mixon every week, every year like they had to in practice, and now they got Chase Brown and Zach Moss is obviously out today, and they're not sure what they're going to deal with. But if anything, the Raiders do keep it pretty competitive in the air, especially with Gardner Minshew launching the downfield. It's how it is, man, with him. It's 50-50. He could get a 60-yard catch and then throw an interception the next play. But, I think at least you guys will be in the red zone a couple times to at least punch it through with, with Carlson or, get a I actually have one of my bets as Alexander Mattison getting a touchdown in the red zone today. So I think you guys keep it competitive.
So these are the three games that we're gonna take, right? And I just put a quick parlay, $100. The Titans, Patriots under 38, the Browns winning outright, and the Raiders covering. $100 parlay, win $767, and then we got our little small bets here, right? So I'm looking at G off this week, damn near. Placing my bets right now, everybody. Listen to that total win, almost $1,000. We will keep you guys updated and posted. Shout out to BetUS, our sponsor here. Guys, going over to BetUS, set up your parlays, get your gambling action in. And guys, while we're still right here, I got my guy Dante here, man. We have a fantasy aficionado, college football aficionado, just overall football savant here. If you guys have any gambling and or fantasy football questions, get them in. And then at the last second of the game, it's almost noon, right? We're going to get into some of this Raider Bengal game, break some of this down, because my man Dante does have on the Brock Bowers jersey. So listen, bro, let me ask you a quick question, man. Matter of fact, oh, yeah, there are player bets there too. Parlays, all of that, man. And don't forget, Snooker is there too. Snooker is there, guys. But what up, Nation? So
get your bets in for the Tuesday election too, because that's on there as well.
Oh yeah, get your bets in for the Tuesday election. There's none greater and none better than BetUS. I wanted to show you guys the site a little bit. I wanted to show you guys wasted going into his money a little bit and playing and winning some money. And Anthony, you were about to be unceremoniously blocked. And yo, my Solomon Mitchell loves my parlay, loves it. And guess what? When it hits, I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to show you all. So, guys, let's get into this Raider Bengal game, man. I had some questions. Anthony is cruising for blocking. The F is wrong to this guy. the pocket pool master. So let me ask you, man, what are your thoughts on this game, Dante? Because, there's a lot of questions, man, based off of this game for both of these football teams. Like if the Raiders and or Bengals drop this game, this pretty much grand closing on any thoughts of being in the playoffs. And it kind of begs to reason that a team that is 2-7 will be more reticent to sell off pieces as opposed to a team that is 3-6.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, this has got to prepare you, always kind of look 1 week ahead on what teams have to do the week that they're in to prove that they could beat the next team up, right? Yeah. And it's kind of strange that you guys are going against the Dolphins right after this. Yeah. At Miami. So I know you talked about going to that game as well. Yeah. So, the one thing that's similar in both of these matchups is, let's say if the Raiders come up short against the Bengals, right? That you had to deal with kind of a powerhouse at wide receiver with Jamar Chase, which he's a different problem than dealing with a Tyreek Hill for sure. You're dealing with the physical nature of a big body guy like him. Then you got Andre Yoshivas, a little quicker guy. And let's see what my boy Jermaine Burton does. You know what I'm saying? He totally toasted what's his name last week on the Eagles. So the Dolphins are going to present a different problem downfield. So they got the speed, but either way it goes, the similarities between both of the teams is that they got a bona fide stud or studs at wide receiver. So if I'm looking at that in an overall scope, that's the one thing that you got to focus on is like the next 2 weeks. We got to make sure the pieces are there in our defensive back unit to cover these guys.
See, and this is a big piece of this too. The Bengals are have Joe Burrow, and he's the leaders, the NFL's current leader at QBR at 75.4. And he's entering that time of year that historically has seen him do his best. And I did a little research for the game, man. At the beginning of 2021, Burrow holds a 14-5 record as a starter in the regular season in games played in November, December, and January. It's the second best in the league, only behind Patrick Mahomes, who was 22-6. And Burrow he leads the league in passer percentage. He leads the league in passer rating and passing yards per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bengals have combined for 18 regular season wins in November, December, and January since 2021, the third most in the AFC, man. And 11 of those victories have come at Paycor Stadium. So this is the time of year when the Bengals turn up. This is a win that the Bengals need. And this is a team that's in a different stage of their development than the Raiders are. The Raiders have a situation where we're building towards something. We're trying to get to a certain place. The Bengals have already drafted their quarterback, and they are going all in and all out for these guys, man. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is going to be a big game for the Bengals, man. This kind of decides how the Bengals proceed with their franchise going forward. Because if they don't make the playoffs this year, they're going to have to make some changes, man. Big.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of have I guess a longer leash too to blow up their franchise versus the Raiders, right? Because the one team that you guys are always gunning for is the Chiefs. Like, there's no question. The whole NFL is gunning for the Chiefs, So your guys' leash is a little shorter, that everybody else hasn't been as competitive as them.
Yeah.
With the Bengals, you got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, you got the Browns, who have been like this, have made a couple, have been to the playoffs a couple years in a row here. So, not in a row, but they've been in the playoffs and been competitive in that division. So they kind of have a longer leash. I don't think they're going to necessarily blow it up, but one thing that they're going to address is what they've been trying to address is, what's our O-line play been like? Obviously, we lost Joe Mixon. We didn't think that was going to be as big as a fall off that it has been for our team, and now
I don't know why. I don't know why everybody wouldn't have thought that wouldn't have been as big of a. Joe Mixon is phenomenal, bro. I don't understand why
Think
people
about the year they went to the Super Bowl, and I said this to my guys the other day. I said what the Texans are dealing with is something totally different than what the Bengals had to deal with. When Joe Mixon had a 100-yard game or close to it, or a touchdown, they won, and it took them up to the Super Bowl. Then you started to see all the other deficiencies with the offensive line and their defense overall, right? But at least when Joe Mixon was in the game, it wasn't like Joe Burrow had to go out of his way and do everything. And that's always been my biggest question mark with Joe Burrow, right? Is without a bona fide running back, can he be the Tom Brady or that talented guy that everybody says that he is? And I haven't been fully 100% convinced. I understand the kid is talented, but what I think that you guys are going to present today is with the move that the Tyree Wilsons of the world has made and the Maxx Crosbys. How is he going to be able to deal with that? Because he's not going to have, like, the underrated part of Joe Mixon's game too, and this from watching football. The dude would put you on your ass on the block. I don't necessarily think Chase Brown is going to be able to do that. The dude is a smaller guy. He's strong, but he's really a scat back type of dude in an offense. And I think people are really starting to see that. Even the Bengals, they thought he was supposed to be their 100% go-to guy, but they really got to find a bruiser. Now, if
my man DeMarcus Webb, not to interrupt you, but my man DeMarcus Webb said it's perfect. Wasted. People have written off running backs and they think they're disposable. And I'm telling you right now, that's a major component to the success of this Cincinnati team. Zach Moss will be hurt, right? And this is one of the reasons why I'm picking the Raiders to cover. This Bengal team is a play action offense. I think Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow without a running back that's a threat. And so when we talk about him and what you were saying about him being that Tom Brady level guy, I think he's that guy when he has the full assortment of weapons. I don't think he's the kind of guy that can make up for that. And to your point, Dante, he can't make up for not having that full assortment of people out there, having that threat at running back, having the wide receivers that he has, having the tight end that he has. I think that is the difference between the Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl years and the Joe Burrow now. them not having a real legitimate threat at running back. And I think that's going to pay dividends for the Raider defense today.
I think they're very one-dimensional too, man. And I'm glad you brought up the tight end because having Mike Gesicki there, like we understand that his career has been like this too, right? Yeah. But if you think about through the years, Hayden Hurst was probably the real bona fide dude until he started having injuries at the end of that season. But still, they really haven't had like a standout tight end like a Sam Laporta or somebody that he's actually had a threat in the middle of the field or at least in the end zone in situations. You know what the Bengals, what they're going to do. High and mighty on the outsides, and they're going to burn you on drag routes with Andre Yoshivas and T. Higgins. That's what they do. And it's very one-dimensional. So when you go, of course, when they go against teams like the Ravens, they get exposed every single year because they're built to stop that type of stuff.
Yeah. Now that's a fact, man. That is a fact. Shout out to Michael Dante just in here. Just turn us into a damn barbecue as you always do, man. Bro, you always do. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. And Walt, you are going to get unceremoniously blocked. Talk about Bob Trumpy. Get the F out of here, man.
Come on, man.
Yo, Walt is the worst, bro. Walt does this all the time, bro. We'll talk about a team, and he starts talking about guys who played in the 60s and 70s and stuff. Get the F out of here, Walt.
Yeah.
Effing nonsense, man.
What are we doing here, brother?
My guy, Bullyface. Yo, Wasted, Jacoby or Jaden Green today? What you think, bro?
Jaden Green.
I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't know. You talking about Jaden Reed? From Green Bay? I think you combine Green Bay and Jaden Reed together.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jaden Reed. I would go Jaden Reed, bro.
Yeah, dude, Jaden Reed has been one of my favorites since Michigan State, man. I knew that dude was gonna be a bona fide champion for them. He's definitely. I would put my money on him today, for sure. I don't know. I'm just very high on him. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see the matchup between him and Terry Arnold a little bit. And Terry, well, you know what, man, that's actually a hard one because Terry Arnold.
Jacoby's a wide receiver number one for the Raiders, right? But this has been a putrid offense.
Yeah. And I don't know who Terry Arnold is going to line up against, but that dude's been playing like an all-pro corner the last 3 weeks for the Lions. I don't know. I think maybe Green Bay is going to switch it up a lot. You might see Jaden Reed playing the slot a lot more to avoid that contact with him. I'd probably go Jaden Reed for sure. He might get you 50 plus in the touchdown today.
Yeah. So look, what more could you ask for, man? My guy, DeMarcus Webb. Uzomah was a good tight end for Cincy. That was a big loss for them. But Gesicki always gives the Raiders problem. Yeah, Mike Gesicki has always killed us for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I
hate to go off of history because he's on a different team, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's facts are facts, right? Yeah, Uzomah was good. I don't know what he's been doing lately, but Uzomah was good. But he was a good blocker. He was a good blocker. Him and Joe Mixon were like best friends. I believe they were
like roommates.
They were roommates during the offseason. Yeah,
they were. Yeah, they're best friends. So look. Going into this Raider game, man, I mean, how do you see any keys to victory? How do you see the Raiders being able to pull this game off and winning this football game?
You got to attack the weakness of that team, which is their run defense for sure. Their defensive back unit has been a little up and down this year, and it's always crazy to think about that when you have such a good wide receivers that you practice against all the time, but it doesn't mean that the talent matches on talent. It's kind of what you're seeing with the Raiders, right? Talent doesn't always match your talent. You got Robert Spillane, but you kind of had garbage cans at running back outside of Alexander Mattison getting a touchdown here and there. So I don't know. I'm a full believer on teams at this point need to figure out who their go-to guys are, right? And Alexander Madison's been putting up points for you guys. Mm-hmm. We talked about it before. We weren't huge fans of Alexander Mattison and what he did at Minnesota. Yeah. But we understood that the guy could get open and do the things that he's been doing. I say keys of victory, run the ball as much as possible. You have to scapegoat Gardner Minshew until you figure out that, that he's not the guy anymore. Like, you guys brought in another quarterback. You guys brought in my man from Cincy, the University of Cincinnati. You got Trey Tucker in their connection. maybe if he does bad halfway through the game, you switch you switch Gardner Minshew out, put him in the game, and see what that connection is looking like. I mean, anything right now, but I really think the key is you focus on the run game against the Bengals, and you make them have to work for everything, and opens up the outsides for them. I don't know. I think between Alexander Mattison and for some reason, man,
Zamir White. This is Zamir White special, ladies and gentlemen. Zamir
yeah,
White. This will be a Zamir White special. He's healthy. I think this is the game. I think Antonio Pierce wants to focus on the run, and I think that is a smart premise to focus on because the Raiders, we know, have had a humongous time running that ball. Oh my God! Everybody keeps freaking calling me. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. I gotta tell my wife really quickly to tell her family to stop calling me. Right, as I'm on the air right now. But the Raiders have had historically bad rushing offense this year, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that turns around today with Zamir White. I think that two things that Antonio Pierce should have possibly done is really change. I'm on the air. Call you back. Sorry. Jesus Christ, man. Right. But no, look, I think this is the game. This is the game that the Raiders are going to commit to. The run is going to pay dividends for them. And to be honest with you, Zamir White hasn't got off this year, and I can't see a player with that assortment of physical skills not have a game where he just breaks out. I don't have any football banter for you. It's just a feeling. I think this is the week that Zamir White's healthy. I think this is a week where they start kind of incorporating him into that two-headed monster of a run game. And I think Zamir White plays well today.
Yeah. One thing that I would run the ball up the middle. I would just keep crashing them up the middle, right? That would be the game plan, or short passes. I mean, see what you got out of Alexander Mattison in short passes. I don't think, as much as we love Brock Bowers and what he's done, I think today he needs to commit to blocking, which I've been saying that from the jump that I think the dude is a much better blocker than Michael Mayer. I think he's like having a secondary tackle. Get that offensive line being comfortable with a guy like him. And the stats are the sexy thing that we look at, right? Like, dude is otherworldly when it comes to catching the ball. But I think today, as far as the victory and getting you guys together, you guys got to attack the number 26th overall run defense right now. So I think that's one thing. And I mean, on the other side of that, as far as pass protection for the Bengals, if you talk about on the defensive side of the ball, Maxx Crosby and those boys just got to get to them. They're ranked number 30 in sack percentage. They're not blocking nobody.
Yeah, Maxx Crosby is gonna have this. This is another Maxx Crosby special. Yo, listen, my God, East Coast Gridiron is a book of knowledge for real. Listen, bro. Listen, we don't deal with people who are novice at this game, bro. You don't get people up here coming on the screen with wasted talent if you don't know the game. You got to look at all of the people in the history of the Wasted Talent podcast who have been on my podcast, right? Of course, my brothers, man, Graf, Hammer, right? Goes without saying Andy. Andy was a monster. And the great Big Mike Raider was discovered right here on Raider Nation Unlimited, right? Yeah. Dante has come on over here, right? And we've had guys in the National Football League, and we've had Mo Moten on here, and we've had Hondo, and we don't have just anybody on the screen here. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the screen here, that means that you know this damn game, man. And I'm going to tell you something, Dante, this is another reason, and my brother touched on this, man. My brother DeMarcus Webb, man. JPJ is starting at center. Andre James is down. And we now have a way for the Raiders to run the football up the middle of the field in between the tackles. I think this is a Zamir White special, brother. A Zamir White special. I think Zamir White or having a JPJ in the middle of that defense changes the complexion of what we can do in the running game. Big time, man.
And honestly, if he can't run against this defense, then you know that he's an absolute problem. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you ever seen that clip with Marshawn Lynch going to the high school and just running everybody over when
Yeah,
he was suspended.
yeah, yeah.
They pretty much lined it up to be like that for him today. And if he can't get it right, man, then I guess it's time to move on.
It's time
And
to move. It's time to cut him. He's a
and
bum.
Nicholas Newman, like, why would you? I understand what you're saying with Harrison Bryant and Mayer's job, but a job of a tight end primarily has always been to be an extra blocker in 12 personnel or 11 personnel, right? Like, it's great having them as a weapon, but you leave the threat out there. If I'm Luke Getsy, I'm leaving the threat that Brock could go out there and catch, but you got to show another side of his skill set, which what I thought was way better than his catching was his blocking in college. I watched this dude for 3 or 4 years, like, since he was in California in high school. He's different when it comes to the blocking game, man. I wouldn't restrict him. I would start getting as much reps in and blocking as possible, because that's what's going to keep him healthy as well down the road. Him taking all these unnecessary hits when you guys are not winning games right now, you know, I think it's kind of a detriment. Now, if you're up and you're winning games and you're using them as a weapon, and you know that you guys can get to the next level, then sure. But right now, against a team like the Bengals, they're basically saying we got a spear and a tiger right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well, why wouldn't you go after the wounded animal? You pound a rock today.
damn
I
right.
I don't think that's I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, man. Listen. So look, real quickly, we gotta read these supers. My guy, Pessimistic Frank, with the $2 holler. Only dividends is the L. Zeus is trash. Raiders. I don't know what the F that means, but I read it, right? My guy, S. Dot. The only thing that has to change is Getsy's zone run. The runs are awful. And use alignments blocking tight ends, runs and pass, and running powers off tackle. This is our offensive line aficionado, S. Dot. S. Dot has been really, really big on using, Dylan Parham as our extra tight end, as a tight end, as an extra blocker and things of that nature. And we don't know if Dylan Parham's going to play. He's coming off of an injury. But look, for me, there are a lot of people that are saying, what are we going to get for winning, losing, whatever, right? For me, it's style of play, right? I want to see these guys develop. I don't want to see this turn into a dumpster fire. If we do lose, we lose, right? But the rest of the league is pretty bad right now, too. And we're not even in striking distance of getting a top pick, because you have a whole bunch of 1-7 teams and 2-6 football teams, right?
Nobody's been eliminated from the playoffs yet. Think about that.
Yeah, and I was talking about that a little earlier, man. And to me, look, I just believe that this is a year where you have a lot of teams that are in the top of the hierarchy of this National Football League that, are bad, but they've located the guy that they have at quarterback, right? So, Denver's 5-3, right? But they got their quarterback, right? The Chargers are 4-3. They got their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati's 3-5. Joe Burrow's their guy. The Jets 3-6. They got Aaron Rodgers there. I don't know if they would draft a quarterback, with Aaron Rodgers being there. I don't think so. The Miami Dolphins are 2-5. If Tua turned the ball over, still there, do you think that the Miami Dolphins go in the first round and draft a quarterback, or they draft somebody to protect them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I would venture to say that the Dolphins will probably stay away from the quarterback position as well, right? Yeah. Now, I don't know, man. How many – they paid Tua an awful lot of money, right?
They did. Yeah. He's there, and it's almost damn near fully guaranteed, too, all the money that he's got.
So they really can't get rid of Tua. So if Tua can play and he can take a snap, he will be their quarterback. Same situation with another 2-6 team, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns can't afford to draft a quarterback. You got Deshaun Watson on an almost guaranteed deal there. You got DTR, you got Jameis Winston there. I don't see the Browns drafting a quarterback. Would it probably be the smart thing to do? Yeah, but I don't see them investing that amount of money when you already have a guy that is going to be a $70 million cap hit if you cut him 2 years in a row. You got to keep Deshaun Watson. He's handcuffed to that team. If I've ever seen that. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you see the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars moving on for Trevor Lawrence? I don't think so. Right now,
we just paid him too. Yeah.
Just paid him. Then the New England Patriots. They located their quarterback last year, Drake May. Tennessee Titans 1-6. They're that team where you see them picking high quarterback. You can almost guarantee that. You can book that, right?
And Carolina, the thing is, we got to stop scapegoating teams too. here's what I'll say, and it kind of back up everything that you're saying. Like a lot of these teams that you look at that have success, like last year with the Chiefs. I hate to bring them up, but it's a perfect example of what I'm saying. The Chiefs on paper, everybody was like, man, this might be the year where they might be a first round exit, right? Just from the lineup. But what they are, and how I used to coach teams too, is like, we're not going to lie about our deficiencies. This is what it is. You guys got to do the best that you can in this one area. But how we can adapt for that is kind of what the Raiders did. They were dominant in the things that they had skill position groups all set and that they had talent around. And that was the defensive line, and their corners were dominant. They had all pros all over the place. And their defense really ran the show. And nobody likes to give them credit last year for that. But like Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton has been a staple. Like when you're dominant, you have to be even more dominant for your deficiencies. And kind of like with the quarterback situation, like you're talking about, New England did the right thing. Drake May needed to sit his ass down and learn from Jacoby Brissett. And you had to have a guy that's ready to hand the reins off to the younger guy. They did the right thing, and Drake May has looked great. And I thought he was going to look ass, but I said he needs to sit down. We got to, even if you guys go out and draft a Shador or Cam Ward, whoever, that's the consensus, who everybody wants here, and I disagree with that. But those two, if you bring them in, I think Drew Allen needs to stay one more year, in my personal opinion.
I want him to come out, and I want him to be in the center for the Raiders. That's
But still, you can't like force those guys out right away and give them the big hit and say that we're putting this on your shoulders. That's too much work.
Yeah, it is.
From college to NFL is already hard enough.
But bro, that Peyton Manning metric is something that should have died a long time ago. And you see a lot of these teams, they're drafting these guys and they're setting them up for failure. Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, all of these guys. These organizations need to commit to these young players and stop throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right?
We also need to take evaluations to head too. So, me with the Bo Nix thing, you can't ignore that the dude had 4,500 yards and 45 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and just say that the dude is complete trash, which proved my point with Anthony Richardson. The dude never won. He never won. Yeah. Physical attributes are physical attributes, but everybody's got them in the NFL, and the level of athleticism that you have to separate yourself is about this big because everybody's got it.
Everybody's athletic. So what will make?
We got to stop that.
Yeah, and listen, he works hard and all of that, but it doesn't really matter. My guy Hug D says the fact that Bo Nix is penning out pisses me off. Yo, David Walker. Shout out to my brother David Walker, man. Yo, shout out to my man Wasted in the East Coast. Raiders, even though we trash, enjoy your day, fellas. Appreciate you. And shout out to my guy, Rudy DeVette Russo, man. I woke up with violence today. The Yankees blew it, and 1 o'clock football annoys me. Take your 8 picks, help Tep and build, salute Wasted. Shout out to my guy, Rudy DeVette Russo, man. So, look, I wanted to get into this, right? We just talked about this. When we start talking about the NFL standings, right? We're getting into this. The Giants are 2-6. New Orleans is 2-6. Carolina's 2-6. So you got 5 teams that could possibly take a quarterback, and us, right? Mm-hmm. 5 teams. Now, 2 of those 5 teams, you have a Derek Carr under center there still. I don't know if they're going to move on from DC. They probably will, right? Who took Spencer Rattler last year. Doesn't look like he's going to be the future. You get the New York Giants with Daniel Jones, who at the end of this season, they can get out of that deal. And you have a Carolina Panthers team where I don't know whether the owner is impatient, is going to get rid of a kid like Bryce Young that early. I think the Raiders win, lose, or draw, right? If they're in a certain ratio, I think the Raiders can move right up to number 1 or 2 and get their guy this year. I really do. I think it'll be a lot easier for them to get their guy based off of the fact that there are a lot of teams that are in the top that might not pick a quarterback. The only team I can see definitely taking a quarterback is the Tennessee Titans, man.
Yeah, I agree. Give me 1 second.
Yo, my guy Jeffrey goes, Wasted loves Drew Aller. I watched the game yesterday. I guess I missed something, but I respect Wasted's opinion. Jeffrey, the thing that I love about Drew Aller is he's 6'5", he's a big, strong kid, throws the ball hard, right? And I think the one thing about that kid is one, he's playing in a pro-style offense, right? And another thing is that he has all the physical attributes and tools, and he works hard. He's a good kid. I think that's the kind of kid that you can develop to be a stud quarterback. I really do. It's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think this is the case that everybody needs to understand, and why the teams that are having success have success. So, we can look at the Broncos all day, right? They got Zach Wilson. They have the other homeboy there that's been in the league for a while. Like, their quarterback room is pretty strong with a nice veteran and a guy that Zach Wilson is going to give you competition because he's going to show flashes, right? He always has. So it's great to have that type of quarterback room with youth and a pro presence. Same thing with everybody else. Like, you could go to New England. Having Jacoby Brissett there for a Drake May is great. But when you go to like the Carolina Panthers, who do they have? They got the Bryce Young. They got Andy Darnold. Nobody knows if Andy Darnold really wants to give up the reins, and it doesn't really seem like
it doesn't seem like it.
He's not ready to be a guy that's ready to pass off the buck. Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, he's not there to teach. He's there to. He's already come out and
he's there to win that. He's there to win that job.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here to win games. I'm not here to be a teacher. So, but when your positional rooms are strong, guys like the Panthers do need to go out and go get a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. They need to go get another quarterback to at least elevate Bryce or put pressure on Bryce. Same thing with the Jaguars. Same thing with the Titans. Titans have a bunch of journeymen at quarterback and thinking that Will Levis was going to be the guy. His downsides were really. He's another Anthony Richardson. He never really won anything.
Yeah, no,
he had one good year with Kentucky.
He's terrible. He's terrible, bro. And look, I'm gonna be real with you. They're definitely taking the quarterback. Now, see, that's the thing. I'm not saying take Drew Allar over Shedeur. I'm not saying what I'm saying is the reality of the situation is that might be the guy that you are gonna want to draft him because the other two might not be there. And I'm comfortable with taking Drew Allar. I'm comfortable with taking him and developing him and going and getting a veteran quarterback and bringing him in here and letting him start the first half of the season and developing the kid. What I'm trying to do for the nation is I'm trying to give you guys options because we get so fixated on certain guys. And I think that the Raiders last year kind of missed the mark by not going after Michael Penix Jr. I think they were so fixated on Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams that they missed the mark. And I think that I'm telling you right now, and you can mark me down right now. Michael Penix Jr. will be a Pro Bowl quarterback. He will be a Pro Bowl quarterback, especially because he went to a great situation in Atlanta where he gets to learn, from a Kirk Cousins. He has a lot of offensive talent and weapons there. I think as soon as that kid gets under center for the Falcons, he will hit the ground running. Go ahead, my brother.
No, I 100% agree with you. And what made it so interesting about Michael Penix Jr. going to the Falcons is my thoughts were this exactly. Who is the quarterback that is most like Michael Penix Jr. without the mobility? Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
That was my pro comparison to Michael Penix Jr. was just he'd had a little bit more ability and he never really showed it at Washington. That just was not what Kalen DeBoer was willing to do. He's willing to throw the rock, and we're seeing that a little bit with Jalen Milroe this year. Like, people need to get the narrative that Jalen Milroe is a first-round quarterback. The dude's been passing all over the place, and he just doesn't have the weapons there. But that's the mentality that Kalen DeBoer, he gets those guys ready to play in the NFL. But Michael Penix Jr. was definitely going to be a Pro Bowler. He's definitely under the right quarterback to learn from because they have the same exact skill set. And one thing that you want to see out of your young guy, and I give him all the credit in the world, out of all the rookies that are sitting on the bench right now, talk about the Spencer Rattlers, and even when Drake May was out there, Michael Penix Jr., every single game and I watched a bunch of Falcons games this year, every single game, that dude is standing on the sidelines, hand behind his back with his helmet on next to the coach, ready to go just in case it's his time to go. That dude is taking this serious, man.
Yeah, he's taking
that's the type of dude you want.
That's the kind of guy you want. Now, see, this is the thing, man. Real quick, rated Jimmy CT said we draft a QB number 1. Is AP the guy to develop him? I don't think he is. I don't. There's no metric that I can say that Antonio. So if anybody comes on here and they're a Raider content creator, they're in the media, whatever, and they tell you that they know that Antonio Pierce can develop a quarterback, they are lying to you. We don't know. Antonio Pierce, and I supported us hiring Antonio Pierce because this was the reality of the situation. Did I think Jim Harbaugh was coming here? No, I did not. I think Jim Harbaugh from the word go was going to Los Angeles. He has an ownership group that is very, very, they're not the greatest ownership group. They don't have a whole lot of money, right? And they were going to give him the keys to the franchise, right? Which with the Raiders, I didn't want that because we saw what that looked like with John Gruden, right? If you have a guy that makes a few bad decisions, right? Also, he didn't have to locate the quarterback. When you go to be successful in the National Football League, if you can go into a situation where you've located the quarterback, then 50% of the job is done. Now all you got to do is coach and develop the rest of the team. So if you look at all of the boxes that needed to be checked, if you're a coach, do I have my left tackle? I got him already. Do I have my quarterback? I got him. Do I have a pass rusher? I don't have one. I got two. I got Khalil Mack and I got Joey Bosa. Number one pick guys, right? Then I have other guys that are talented as hell on this roster, and all I got to do is go in there and coach them. You kidding me? So that's why Jim Harbaugh was never coming here, bro. I don't care what anybody says. He wasn't coming here. So if he wasn't coming here, and then you have everyone in the locker room and the fan base causing a mutiny, whether they got AP or not. So let me just try this shit out for 1 year. That's why you don't know the details of Antonio Pierce's contract, because I guarantee you it's very, very easy for the Raiders to get out of. Guarantee that, right? So let's see if we caught lightning in a bottle. Why not see it? And what we're seeing now is we didn't. So now we have to be honest with ourselves as a fan base. And we have to say, hey, listen, what is Antonio Pierce's resume? This is his resume. Okay, what are the good things he's done here? Okay, he had a bunch of wins last year at the end of the season. The Chief game is his signature win as a coach. Great. How did the team look winning that football game? It was a defensive struggle. We won it. Great. But the rest of the games, you beat Tommy DeVito, right? You beat I forgot the backup, the third string quarterback for the freaking Chargers. What the hell was that kid's name? Easton Stick.
Yeah, Easton
right?
Stick. Yeah.
Easton Stick. This is the guys that we're beating here. We're going in Denver and beating Jarrett Stidham and Flotsam and Jetsam here. Like, guys, it's not like we went out there and we beat anybody of note. We also lost the game 3-0 to freaking the Minnesota Vikings, right? So that's a part of his resume as well, right? So now we're getting into this season and we're seeing what this looks like, and it doesn't look great. And it's not from a player perspective. It's from a strategic standpoint. It's from a coaching standpoint. Bad timeouts, bad decisions, not going in and stepping in and changing certain things, and no second half adjustments. These are all of the things that I'm looking at here. And I don't have faith that if I have a young quarterback coming in, that I know the offensive mind ain't in the building.
Yeah,
the offensive mind ain't in the building, bro. And you need that. You need that. You can't just bring these young guys in and not have a way and an infrastructure to develop these guys. Go ahead, Dante. I'm sorry, man.
No. You bring up some good points. And AP, this is unacceptable, man. I mean, at this point in time, when you take a job like that, it's just like any of us taking a job, right? Let's say you got promoted tomorrow, and they're like to in a management position. Are you sure you can handle this? Because your responsibilities are going to change. They're going to expect in about a month of you being a manager that you're going to have a good grasp on what to do. You're supposed to be the guy that delegates. You're supposed to go down with the ship if something goes down, and you're the one that's going to take most of the responsibility. But with that being said, you had to surround yourself with people that either have a proven track record or are ready to prove themselves. Luke Getsy has not had a proven track record of being successful anywhere that he's been. If I was AP, yes, Cliff Kingsbury coming back over from college was supposed to be the thing, right? And you can see where, they're reaping the benefits of that for the Commanders. But Cliff Kingsbury is trying to go back through the ranks. He's done it. Went back to college, got himself together, had success with Caleb. Now he's having success with Jaden. But he's an offensive guy, and you could see that even with Kyler Murray when he was with the Cardinals. Like, those guys were on a rhythm. It's just everything else. He was not a good head coach. If AP was going to step into this role, why didn't he go after guys that were ready to prove themselves? You're a first-time head coach, and of course, all smoke and mirrors when the head coach gets fired and the whole team is behind you. Momentum is momentum, but this is a totally brand new year, brand new players in the house, a lot of young guys that you drafted. You bring in Luke Getsy in, who's different than the coordinator that you had before. If it was me, man, I would have if I was AP, I'd be like, man, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with people that are ready to prove themselves as well.
Yeah.
Let me go get a Kenny Dillingham out of college that's proven to be a young guy that's an OC. He's 34 years old, but now he's a head coach at Arizona State, and they're going crazy. Or let me try to grab Will Stein from Oregon because I know his system works. It may not be pretty, but they pound the rock until they can throw it downfield. Like, it doesn't matter. You have to go get guys that are ready to prove themselves and go down with that ship, knowing that you brought people with you to prove themselves, than to go down with a Luke Getsy who has not.
So this is the problem, right, Dante? And this is herein lies the problem with Antonio Pearson. Let me read this super really quickly. Arch Manning, a Hotep can dream. A Hotep could dream with. So yeah, Arch Manning is not coming out this year.
He's not coming out this year.
My guy Rudy Vest said Arch Manning and I'm not Drew Allard, but Jackson Dart. I like Jackson Dart. I don't know if Jackson Dart is going to be a first-round quarterback, though.
The thing about Jackson Dart, I'm telling you, bro, that dude is smoke and mirrors. He's good at throwing a deep ball. If Trey Harris is not there or those other receivers are not downfield, he does not process the field very well. Amazing deep ball, but that's all that he's got. I don't know why people keep throwing it. Stop looking at the box score, guys. I'm telling you.
I like Jackson Dart, but I don't like Jackson Dart in the first round. I like him being like the way I like Spencer Rattler, being a developmental guy, right? So if you don't, say for instance, you wind up and you draft like Travis, right? And you don't draft a quarterback in the first round. Jackson Dart's a guy that in the second round I'm taking a look at. The first round I'm staying away from Jackson Dart, right? My guy Junior Land, peace wasted. Can you give a shout out to my son Aaron? Shout out to your son Aaron, man. Shout out to my guy Junior Land. Peace to him. Peace to everybody. Yo, my guy Pessimistic Frank. AP is going down with all the trash business decisions. Guys, listen, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. The reason why you don't go get a bunch of college guys, right? If you're AP, is because you don't have the knowledge at the top of the organization, you being the head coach, to develop them guys under you. You don't really know what it looks like being a head coach because you've never been a coordinator before, right? You don't have a strategy. You don't have a blueprint to what it is to so you can be like when you're a leader, right? And this is the thing for me being a father and a leader at work, and just you have to have a clear and concise vision to sell to the people that you're trying to develop. The people that you're trying to develop, you have to know what your vision is. When you're trying to figure out what kind of coach you're trying to be and how to do the job, how can you give these people anything to follow? You don't even know what you're doing. And that's the problem. And this is the thing that we need to understand to cultivate. And yes, I am a guy who won an AP last year, right? And I explained to you why I did. And I wanted to see whether it will work or not. But I'm also a left brain thinker. And I know that football is a week-to-week league, right? And we're seeing what having a novice football coach looks like. It doesn't look great. He has not answered the bell. He has not stepped up and improved as a coach yet. There's nothing that you could say where you could be like, hey, Antonio Pierce has improved. He's getting better at this. Nothing. Every week is the same shit. And I'm not trying to come after AP's job because that's not me. I don't go after people's job, but I'm being honest with you. I don't have faith that if we have a young quarterback, that man and the infrastructure here can develop the quarterback. And you got a lot of people that are talking about the owner. The owner's job is not to coach football. It's not to pick players. It's not to do any of that. The owner needs to know how to hire the people to do the job and to get the success out on the field. That's the deficiency there. So that's why a guy like Tom Brady being there is a good thing. I'm not looking for I think Raider fans more than any fan base in football have this sight blindness to where they think that an owner is supposed to know football. Mm-hmm. Owners are not supposed to know football. You think Stan Kroenke knows football? He don't know football. He's a great businessman. He hired a good GM. He hired a great coach, and they did what they had to do. Right? The Hunt family is a football family. They've been around a long time. But Clark Hunt is not going out there and telling Andy Reid what to do. He just knew how to hire the right guy. He knew to hire the right guy. He knew to hire Andy Reid. The Rooneys is a little different, right? And you know, listen, Art Rooney Jr. is still alive, but Art Rooney Jr. has been in that organization in the 70s. That's different. The Maras, they got to know how to hire the right people and get the fuck out the way. Right? When you start looking at these teams, the Ravens, Steve Bisciotti and all these guys, he don't know football. He knows that I hired John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh needs to know football. Mark Davis needs to hire people to know football and get out the way and sign the checks and make money so you be viable in the free agent market.
Yeah.
If Mark Davis has done nothing else, he's done that. He's done a great job at that. More than his father did. So I don't want to hear this stuff about the owner, and I don't want to hear us getting nostalgic as a fan base. If we don't win, if you finish this season and we only win 2 or 3 games this season, you can't bring Antonio Pierce back. You can't. You just can't, because there's no metric to where you can look back and say that this guy can develop this new kid we're going to bring in. There just ain't. I'm sorry. Yo, my guy Esta, I know at this point AP realized he fumbled the bag picking Getsy. I know the players are saying to themselves, we can go on Madden and create a playbook and call plays better than he does. Players ain't stupid, bro. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Dante, man, I'm sorry, brother. But
No. I was gonna say, like, you're right about I always say the 3 top organizations when it comes to from the top down: Green Bay Packers, Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still have them as the top 3 ahead of the curve, because one thing that they don't have is losing seasons. One thing that they always have is their specialty and what they've been known for: Baltimore defense, Steelers defense, Green Bay, great quarterback and offense. Like, this is what they predicate their teams on, and they stick with that formula. Also, I don't know if you heard the story about Mike Tomlin when he brought Brian Flores in. Brian Flores came in and he was like, Mike, you think you can help me out? He went to Art Rooney Jr. He said, hey, man, I got Brian Flores here. I don't know what job that we can offer him. Maybe he can be, an advisor to the defense. What do you think? I'm just trying to get this guy, a job, but I think we can utilize his mind. Art Rooney said, hey, if we need to make a desk for him tomorrow, that's your call. And yeah. Mike went and hired him. That's how that's how these teams trust their coaches and the guys that are around there that know football, and they make great decisions, and it ended up being really good for them. Their defense was great that year, and Brian Flores has got a job. You think that's is that more of a reflection of Brian Flores or Mike Tomlin at this point?
Mike Tomlin, 100%, bro.
100%, and it makes the Steelers look good too.
It makes the Steelers look good because they're the ones who came up. It is the Rooney Rule. Rooney Rule. They're the ones who brought the Rooney Rule to the league, right? So it makes the Steelers look good, man. Yo, listen, stability, great ownership. Now, guys, listen, this show has been powered by BetUS. The great Dante from East Coast Gridiron has pulled up. East Coast Gridiron, going over there, subscribe to Dante's channel, right? Our brother Dante cooks every single time he comes on, man. And this show has been powered by BetUS. Going over to BetUS, you get a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 in your first deposit. You get a 125% sign-up bonus for your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Use code YouTube150 and tell them Wasted Talent. And even my guy East Coast sent you. Now, guys, before we get out of here, if you guys got any fantasy gambling advice, put it on in. But we're going to get out of here. I'm picking the Raiders to cover this game. I don't be surprised the Raiders win this game. I can see the Raiders winning this game. But this game will not be a 2-touchdown, or touchdown plus affair for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to struggle a little bit to get this dub with us, man. And my guy, Joe Johnson, try to get Oakland to build a stadium, but they rejected it. Facts. And look, guys, when you guys, a lot of people hate Mark Davis because the Raiders had to move out of Oakland. And I hate us being unrealistic. There's no state in the union that has more professional sports teams than California. California has the Dodgers. They had the A's. They had the Padres. They have the Angels, right? Football, you got the Rams, you got the Chargers, you got the 49ers, you had the Raiders, right? Am I missing one? No, I'm not, right? You have 4 professional football teams. You have 4 baseball teams. You got all these basketball teams over there. You got Golden State, you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? You got the Warriors. You got all of these teams. Hockey teams.
Even think about all the colleges: UCLA, USC, San Diego State, San Jose State, Fresno State. Like, let's just walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, University of Cal Berkeley. Like,
yeah,
these are not no little time schools,
bro. These are not little time schools. And what I will say to you is that listen, the Kings. I forgot about Sacramento Queens, right? So, yo, the Los Angeles Kings, right? People pay enough taxes in California. People pay enough tax in California. A lot of y'all are from California. You guys pay more taxes than we do on the East Coast. Nobody is going to pay for a football stadium. Nobody, I'm going to say this, and we ain't going to get into no politics, but nobody's paying for your football stadium, bro. And for Al to expect that and not have the money is, you was never going to get a stadium, bro. They were never going to build us a stadium in Oakland. The city wasn't going to pay for it. Libby Schaaf wasn't going to pay for it back then. It wasn't going to happen, right? Mark's father dies. The team is in dire straits financially. He outsmarts the rest of the league and moves them to a market where there never was a market and is making a sports market from the ground up, and now he is a freaking billionaire. You got to give him his respect. As a businessman, you got to. He got in bed with the dirtiest people in the business, all them casino owners, and is paying them back. Built a brand new state-of-the-art stadium and has enough money to be viable in free agency forevermore. There was years when we knew that the Raiders wasn't going to be able to compete in the free agent market because we just didn't have the freaking money. You guys, we knew it. We knew there was years where the Raiders had to wait to pay their players until they got the NFL TV money. That is not the case right now. And I'm not mad at Mark. The only thing I can fault Mark is hiring John Gruden and not being smart and not being smart, but hiring Josh McDaniels was a bad mistake. And David Ziegler. And this is the mistake that he made 2 times in a row. He gave a head coach final cut over the GM. That's the mistake Mark made. I believe Josh McDaniels could have worked had he not had final cut. Because had he not had final cut and David Ziegler would have had final cut, David Ziegler would have moved up and taken C.J. Stroud. That's the mistake Mark made. Hire the GM, let the GM have the autonomy and the power. And that's one reason why I don't think Antonio Pierce makes it. If we don't win 6 games, at least he's not going to keep his job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a cohesive unit, man. I've always said this just from the coaching aspect, not as big as like being part of the NFL, but your head coach has to coordinate the coordinators. It's as simple as that.
The head coach. Thank you, Dante. I'm going to cut you off. That is exact. And I don't think that AP has the football background as a head coach. Now, as a player, as a positional coach, yeah. But just seeing the whole entire picture, I don't think he has that, bro. He doesn't have that, and that's what you need, right? Dante, appreciate you, man. Love you, man, for coming on here. You always class the joint up. Shout out to BetUS. This show and the stream has been powered by BetUS. We're going to get out here, y'all. Y'all go make sure you go update your fantasy rosters. It is 12:30 almost. Go update your fantasy rosters. Go get your parlays in. Go get your bets in. Going over to BetUS. 150% on your first deposit bonus up to $2,000. Go get yourself some more. And on your next 2 deposits, up to $2,000, 125%. Use YouTube code 150. Going over to BetUS before 1. The 1 o'clock games are going to be on. We're going to go watch this game. I will be rocking and rolling and cooking for all of you guys after the game. We're going to contextualize whatever happens in this game. Go Raiders, everybody. Love every single one of y'all. Y'all have a freaking great and powerful day, man. Peace.
See ya.